Hello guys, and welcome to my Mazda RX-8 channel. In today's video I'm going to be doing a compression test on this Mazda RX-8. This is a 6-speed manual transmission Mazda RX-8. It does not start. I bought it after the car has been sitting for 2 years and nobody could figure out anything with it, and here I am. This is the type of project that I actually wanted to pick up. So anyways, as you can see, my front wheel is off. The spark plugs are over here, like on this side. They're most accessible when you actually take the wheel off. Don't try to change them by opening up your hood and removing your airbox and disconnecting your steering shaft, because you're just in for a whole world of trouble, guys, especially if you disconnect the steering shaft and you can't put it back. When I bought this car, guys, the spark plugs, the 2 leading ones was off, the 2 trailing ones was installed. The steering shaft was disconnected, and I could tell after removing the whole knuckle, somebody was really struggling with it, and they just really damaged it by trying to keep installing it. Maybe they used a hammer, I don't know what they used, but I could tell they were struggling with it. So this car was basically sold with the steering shaft disconnected. So while I was at the customer's, well, I guess not a customer's, but where I was buying this vehicle, I asked him if I could actually reconnect the steering shaft. He was pretty cool about it, and I did. But I struggled with it as well. I could not even get it inserted. So I had to remove the whole knuckle, and then I had to separate it, make it a little bit wider, and only then I was actually able to install it. But that being said, we're going to be using a compression test kit that's inside of this box. Now, normally what you want to do in order to do a compression test is 6 things. You need to warm up your vehicle, you need to remove your eccentric position sensor, you'll need to disconnect your 2 leading spark plugs, and then you'll need to, of course, hold your, well, you'll need to connect this tool to one of the rotors, which would be either 1 or 2, your choice, and then you need to hold down your gas pedal and I guess your clutch if you have a stick or 6-speed manual, and then you have to turn it over and then get the readings. Japan the Tuning channel, he's got like a really good video on that, and he shows basically how to do it. Now, I've seen other videos where they actually disconnect the actual fuel pump, and by disconnecting a relay, so like a fuel relay. So I'm going to attempt to cut some corners, even though it's easy to do all those things, and but here's why I'm cutting those corners. Well, first of all, this Mazda RX-8 does not start. I have no fear of it starting up, so I'm leaving the eccentric sensor plugged in. Instead, I will disconnect the fuel relay switch, which means I don't have to hold my gas pedal down, because technically there's not going to be any fuel getting in there to begin with. That relay is really easy to get to, so let's go ahead and actually do that now. I guess I'll go ahead and disconnect the relay switch, and then remove the 2 trailing spark plugs, and we'll go ahead and actually get this thing tested one by one. I think it's gonna be a pretty easy test. But anyways, guys, I like to try something new, and we'll see where it goes. Now, the proper way of actually testing the compression on these Mazda RX-8s would be, of course, testing it on a hot engine. You'll get the best type of readings, because the engine does expand somewhat, and then the rotor stays kind of smaller. So then it means if you have like bad apex seals, it's not going to have good compression, because it's going to expand. That's why the apex seals, they have springs and they expand out a little bit to compensate for that extra engine when it warms up expansion. In this case, I'm just lucky enough to get it started on cold at this point. Also, we have an issue, which I could tell the tachometer gauge does not move at all. I don't know what the deal with that is. I watched my video that I did with the automatic when it was not starting, and the tachometer gauge did move just a little bit as I was cranking, just ever so slightly. This one just stays dead still, and I'll show you guys that in a minute. But anyways, let's get going. So here we are, guys. We have the fuse panel here. This is already kind of like broken. So there's like a little connector broken there. So you can see there's all the relays right there. But when you flip this thing out, you'll see that there's a fuel relay right here. And the cool thing is, you know, even though the box is on the other way, everything that you're going to be reading here is exactly in the same position. So here's the fuel. So we basically take this fuel relay and we get it out of here. Let's see here. There it is. We pull it out, and you can just put it inside here and just set that to the side. Even though I'm not going to be disconnecting the Eccentric shaft sensor right now, I do want to show you where it's located. It's fairly easy to get to it. It's right between your oil pan and man, my finger cannot even point that way. But I got my thumb showing you guys. It's that gray switch right there. Cannot get a good focus on it, but there it is right there. Yesterday I had to tighten this thing up a little bit because it was completely loose. Now at some point today I do want to remove it, and I do want to change it. Maybe somebody was in the process of changing it and they didn't. Maybe it's a good time for me to just go ahead and remove it and look, because I'm looking at it right now in the daytime. It does look like it's gray and it's got some buildup and stuff on it. So there's a good chance that's an old sensor. So I do have another one inside that somebody left in there, which looked like an old sensor, but let's compare the two and see which one looks older. Guys, this is what I have inside here. So when I look at this and I look at that one, they both look old to me. They look used. But I know some of you said, remove your eccentric position sensor, which is also crankshaft position sensor, clean it up, put it back, and it should work. You know what? This looks, you know, like it's a Japan type of sensor by Denso. I think I should just clean it up and stick it in there. But at this point, this is not what we're doing. I mean, I'm not trying to get the car started at this point. I just want to check the compression. So we're just going to put this to the side, leave it for another video. Guys, I'm going to show you how to remove the spark plugs, the two leading ones. I know most of you guys already probably know how to do this, but for the new Mazda RX-8 owners, I will show how to do it. At least how I do it, because I've never seen anybody do that before. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to pull the spark plug wire from the leading, pull another spark plug wire from the leading. I know you can't really see these spark plugs, but you know, there's already plenty of, you know, pictures where you could see them. I'm sure you could see yours. I'm also using a Quinn 13x16 type of socket, which has a rubber piece inside. Not sure if you could see that. And I'm going to be using this in combination with my Cobalt tool on setting number 1. And I want to make sure that before I do anything, that I get a good fit. And then I go ahead and want to spin it out. So there's the spark plug. It's right there. It's got a little bit of oil on it because I've been putting some oil. But anyways, remove it, set it to a side, and then I need to go ahead and get on another one. This one is at a slight angle, but my extension has a little bevel in it, and you could actually, it's like a rounded type of head where it like bends. I could put this at an angle. So let's see, boom, and it's out. There it is right there. And this is a good way to remove stuff without breaking it. So here's another leading spark plug. This does look new, laser iridium type of spark plug. And it looks like I got two trailings as well. So let's see. I also have an endoscope camera that I could use, and I could actually look at it, but at this point it is not necessary. I'm just gonna go ahead and actually install the tool to do the compression test. So anyways, guys, let me show you the compression tester tool that I got from eBay, what it looks like. Possibly this is something you want. I'm gonna try to leave you a link to the eBay store to try to pick this thing up in the description below. So let's open this thing up. Here's what we get, a nice orange tool. So it comes nicely wrapped with a Velcro strip. I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull that out and expand it. So over here we have a plug. We have another plug right there. So we want to go ahead and pull this out, and there's 2 rubber seals inside. So here's the 2 rubber seals. We're just gonna set them down, and then here's the portion that you put in the spark plug hole. You only want to put it hand tight, do not over tighten it. So this is the portion that you could just press down and you could click it in. I don't recommend clicking it in before you install it because the wire is going to get twisted up. Before you actually do anything, I recommend expanding it a little bit with this extra type of wire that was actually included. So take your long end and then plug this in. Now this is going to go into the spark plug hole. So here's a Duracell, well, Procell, it's probably Duracell, but remove this little cover and install it into your compression tester. To install it, you'll need to pull the rubber protective housing from it, open the lid, and pop the battery in. So upon popping it in, you want to go ahead and actually close the lid. Boom, it's closed. So the unit's kind of small like this, and there's a red button right here that turns it on and turns it off. So right now the unit is off, and we'll want to go ahead and install the protective covering. There's all types of protective coverings for them at different colors. I prefer our orange. It's just really easy to see, and I don't know, it just kind of looks cool. There's a screen protector. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it. So let's see, once I turn it on, it says all of that information in there. Let's see, I'll just show it to you guys. So it actually needs to begin cranking, it says. It needs to kind of like calibrate, and then it's ready to go. So right now, if I had this thing plugged into a spark plug hole, I could go ahead and actually just start cranking, and it's going to be showing me some kind of readings, from it. But before we do that, let's check this out. Now, I'm looking at this. This does have like a rubber seal on it. This is another one. I mean, it's quite small. I really don't know what to do with them, to be honest. I mean, there's one already here which is bigger, so that's actually what we want to use. I'm going to go ahead and close my compression tester. Like, I'm talking about just like the box to it, because I don't want to spill anything. I'm just going to close it and go ahead and actually plug this into the hole. So you probably cannot see this, but I'm sorry, but this is kind of hard to see anyways. You'll have to kind of like put your hand, at the bottom right there, in between your engine mount, and just spin it into place. I am spinning mine. It seems to be going in no problem. You just want to get it just good hand tight. You don't want to use any tools to try to tighten it, guys. Otherwise you'll really mess these things up. Okay, so that's tight, and now we want to go ahead and plug in our cable. There's not that much room here. Let's see here. Okay, so that's plugged in. Now we're gonna go inside and start cranking. I mean, we're ready to go. We just gotta take this unit inside. Before moving on, I do want to show you guys where it's plugged in. There it is. That's a leading. So you could see to the right, it's a L, and at the top, it's a T. So we plugged it into the leading, and there's another leading spark plug hole. It's okay to have both spark plug holes removed because they're different cylinders. It's not going to affect your testing. Guys, I routed my compression tester right through the window so that I don't break anything. So we're ready to start cranking. So if you don't have the fuel relay disconnected, you'll need to hold down your gas pedal to deflate it, but I'm gonna hold mine down anyways. So let's begin cranking. $75, $75, $71, PSI 117, 117, 111. So we have all of these readings. You know, I don't think that's bad. I don't think it's bad. I need to look up the numbers, but I actually think that's pretty good. So this is cylinder 1. That's what we have. So guys, now we're ready for cylinder number 2. I'm going to go ahead and install it, and then we're going to start cranking away. Everything's plugged in, and I just turned the unit off and let it calibrate, so it looks like it's ready for me. So testing cylinder 2, holding down the clutch and the gas pedal. Wow, PSI 93, 98, 103. Okay, well, that is way different. So this is much higher in 2. So perhaps my cylinder 1 is a lot worse. But I'm not sure. I need to really look at the readings now and just compare the two, because I could be thinking of 2 different numbers. So we're just going to continue looking. So PSI 93, 98, 103. And then this one, 146, 154. So there's a bunch of different readings according to which country you live in and which one you actually go by. I think we go by PSI here. So, yeah. I think that's good. So anyways, guys, as you've seen, the compression test is concluded, and those are the readings, guys. I got 2 different readings and two of the cylinders, so you could see that. Let me know if this is good or bad. But right now, my concern is with the crankshaft position sensor, because it is probably no good. What I want to do is I want to swap out the compression, swap out the crankshaft position sensor with the one that I have in my automatic, because I know that one's good and that one's starting. In order for me to do that, I'll need to remove it. But before I actually remove anything, I want to show you what's going on. So basically, as I'm starting this car, the RPM gauge, it's just not moving at all, which is kind of concerning amongst many other things. But this is one of those that I think somewhat needs to be solved. That being said, guys, I just replaced the spark plugs and I've removed my compression tester. I still need to compression test my automatic RX-8, but that is not important right now because it is currently starting up just fine. I think these compression numbers are not impressive, but they're good enough to where it's not a huge concern. So anyways, here's the fuel relay. I replaced it, so it's back in there. So I'm actually charging another battery as we're going at it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and go ahead and actually apply some extra juice to the battery. So I'm gonna give it 200 amps. There it is right there. So I'm gonna try to start it, but the main thing is I want to show you how my RPM gauge moves. All right, here we go, guys. I'm depressing the clutch, and take a look at the RPM gauge as I'm cranking. So anyways, as you can see, it's not moving. So guys, my hopes is to go ahead and swap out the my crankshaft position sensor from my automatic, and if it moves, hey, maybe I found my problem, because right now it's not moving. And you know, if it's a bad crankshaft position sensor, the car is not going to start anyways, because it cannot tell, you know, the dead center of the, you know, pistons and whatnot, even though this is not a piston engine. In this case, the rotors, and that means it's not going to fire. Anyways, guys, this is my automatic Mazda RX-8. Everything starts up just fine on this one, but here's what I've been working on. I've replaced the radiator with the racing radiator. It does not have 2 lines for the transmission, which is those right there. So I went ahead and I ordered myself a transmission cooler, and I'm going to be replacing it. It actually just came in, but it's not like I had you know. What I mean, guys, is I had already plenty of work for me, but there you go. I buy myself another project. That's just how I am, guys. I don't finish one thing and I go ahead and move on to another. But to me, that's just fun, and that's how I like to do things. So guys, there's my eccentric shaft sensor. It's really hard to see it, but there it is. It seems like I got a little bit less room than I do with the other one. Since I have everything disassembled, you could see the eccentric shaft sensor is right there, and I could just basically remove it by reaching in from the top, since everything's disassembled. But normally, just replace it from the bottom. You don't need to remove all this. Now that I got it unplugged, I'm gonna go ahead and actually remove it. Just one bolt that holds it down. So anyways, guys, this is my eccentric shaft sensor that I bought for $13. It worked just fine, and as you can see, it's like a no-brainer, but it works. At least I know it works. This was installed in my automatic. It does get installed with a 10mm type of socket, but on the other one that I have, which is a manual, they're using an 8mm, so yours might be either or. So it's time for me to remove that other one and swap them out. Anyways, guys, this is the eccentric sensor I just removed from my manual transmission. As you can see, it's a little bit dirty. Doesn't look too bad. Looks like it is a branded one. And I have 2 of exactly the same style. There's one that's even dirtier than this that's inside of the car. So I'm not sure if somebody maybe pulled one from the junkyard and decided to use it in theirs. I don't know why there's 2 old eccentric shaft position sensors inside of the car. But hey, that's the story. So we got a new one in there. Let's see if it does anything. Let's see if we get any movement from the tachometer gauge. All right, guys, and we're now inside. Let's try starting this with a new eccentric shaft sensor. As you can see, the needle on the RPM gauge does not move at all, but it is spinning good. Seems like it's spinning a whole lot faster, but I do believe it needs to move. Guys, when I actually bought this car, I found another relay in here. I'm not sure if this belongs in this car, if somebody did not plug something in, but it looks bigger than other relays. Let me show you what it looks like. This is the relay switch that I found. It's kind of big. Never seen one like this in the RX-8 before, unless it's located in like a different spot. So I'm going to just try to look around, see if I spot anything, you know, different. But this does not look like it belongs in this RX-8, but maybe it does. I don't know. You let me know, guys. What do you think on this one? Could this be our missing link? Hey guys, I'm looking at the fuses, and actually I unplugged this, you know, without the camera, but we had this red one hooked up to this 20 here, which I disconnected. Probably some power for the audio. Also, this 7.5, which is an AC type of fuse, was actually plugged in wrong, like a little bit offset. It was not even plugged in all the way. AC, so maybe this person did not want to drive with AC to get more power. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take a look at the rest of these fuses and see what I find. I checked out all the fuses. Everything looks good. I'm gonna close this box up and move on. Guys, now I'm underneath the hood. I'm trying to find what's the story behind this fuse. I mean, sometimes it's just a misleading type of story, but when you find something, you know, sometimes it belongs somewhere. But I've never seen this in RX-8 before. Not that I'm an expert, you know, but that is that, guys. But one thing's for sure, when I did buy this relay was out, and then number 15 was out. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check the rest of those fuses out and see where we are. Hey guys, I checked every single fuse. I even compared it to my other Mazda RX-8. Everything seems to be in order. I don't see where that big one could be. I might be missing something. But here's what I want to do. I checked everything. I pulled every single fuse out. I plugged everything in. Some of the connector pins, they looked slightly corroded because they were probably never removed, but nothing's blown. So I'm going to attempt to try to just start this thing, see if anything has changed, because I did mess with it, you know. Because at this point, with the RPM gauge not moving, I'm a little bit stumped. I mean, I want to look into the ignition coils next. see if they're even, you know, producing a spark or what. But I don't know, shouldn't we get something? We're not getting anything in the RPM gauge mode. Anyways, here we go. Yeah, RPM gauge not moving. Now I'm pressing down the gas. Slowly removing it. And I know that's a little bit too long, but I do have another starter on order. Guys, I've researched the starters, and I found that the original starters, they're like 1.4 kilowatts. Then I found some improved starters, upgraded at 2.0 kilowatts. And then I even found one at 2.2. I got myself a 2.0 kilowatts for 50 bucks, and it's going to come in sometime around the 20th. But at the time of me ordering it, this starter was spinning very slowly. It was quite weak, but it's spinning so much faster now. So I'm not sure why it doesn't start just yet, but I know one thing is, the very next thing I need to do is either remove this fuel, but we have so little of it, or just go ahead and just get a bunch of premium, mix it right in, and maybe even put some heat in there, like kind of like a bottle of heat, to remove any water and, you know, perhaps stabilize the fuel, and then put some you know, maybe put fuel stabilizer in there and stuff like that. But I do want to add some fuel this time, pre-mixed premium inside a fuel tank, and see where that leads us. But for now, guys, this video was just supposed to be me just doing a compression test, and I got into testing some other things. I mean, I don't want to make a bunch of boring videos, so I'm just kind of putting it all into one. I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you're either a fan of Mazda RX-8s or you're going through the same exact thing. So maybe the more information that you pick up from these videos, the better, or at least, you know, you could cross-reference some information, and I will get this car started. So once we will know exactly what was wrong with it, that's for sure. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for commenting on the videos and watching my videos and stuff like that. Thank you for all your tips and all your help. I really do appreciate it, guys. Take care, guys. See you in the next video. The next video is going to be you know, me replacing the fuel, and perhaps doing some other things that I come up with. But anyways, guys, stay tuned for that. And please subscribe if you haven't already, because this is a Mazda RX-8 channel, and I'll continue posting videos about Mazda RX-8s as long as I own them. And I own 2 of them, so there won't be a shortage of videos, that's for sure. All right, guys. Bye-bye.